Hey, how's it going? How's life? My name is Sophia. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought it would be fun to do a little tag. So I created the books and K-pop tag. So when I created this tag, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't stepping on any toes. So I did look up to see if anyone else had created a similar tag, and I did find one K-pop inspired book tag that I will leave linked down below for any of you guys who are interested to check out. I will say the questions and the prompts are very different, so feel free to check that out. The first prompt is bias, and that is going to be your favorite book or author of all time. And for this, I am going to be choosing Monstrous, the graphic novel by Majori Liu and Sana Takeda. Now, if you've been on my channel for any period of time, you know that I have an unhealthy obsession with Monstrous. It's to the point where almost every video I do, I mention this graphic novel at least once. For those of you who don't know, in this story you are following our main character, Micah Halfwolf, who has a demon living inside of her. We're basically following Micah's journey as she tries to figure out her past and the reason as to why she has this demon living in her. This is set in a East Asian matriarchal steampunk society, and it's just so good. I love the characters, I love the world, I love the magic. I just love everything about this graphic novel, and I highly recommend picking it up. The next prompt is Bias Wrecker, and that is going to be a book you were surprised by. And for this, I am choosing Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. Now, in this story, you are following our main character, Morgan Crow, who was born on Eventide. And as a result, everyone in her village thinks she's bad luck, so she gets blamed for everything wrong that happens within her town. There is a prophecy that states on her 12th birthday, Morgan will die. But instead, she gets whisked away to this magical world known as Nevermore. Now, I was surprised at how much I loved this book. I don't normally pick up middle grade, and so picking up a middle grade, I was a bit hesitant and I wasn't sure if I would like it, but I was very pleasantly surprised. It's very whimsical, very magical, and I loved every single second of this. I did listen to this on audiobook, so if you are interested in picking it up, I would highly recommend picking up the audiobook. The next prompt is Come Backstage, and that is going to be your most anticipated sequel for this year. And for me, that is going to be The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. Now, in the first book, The Poppy War, you are following our main character, Fa Ruin, who lives with her foster parents. Unfortunately, her mom sets up an arranged marriage for her, but Rin doesn't want that. So she studies really hard to get into Sinagard, which is the most prestigious military academy, and our story goes from there. Now, when I tell you that the Poppy War and the Dragon Republic broke my heart and crushed my soul, it's just, I really enjoyed the first two books in the trilogy. I thought they were well done. The characters, I didn't really like Rin as a main character, but like everything else about this series I loved and adored, and I am super excited, super hyped to have my soul crushed by this series. The next prompt is Trainee, and that is a debut you are highly anticipating, and for this I'm going to choose Star Daughter by Shweta Takrar. In this story, you are following our main character, Shital, who is half star, half human. One day, she has an accidental flare-up and she ends up injuring her father. And in order to heal him, she has to find a star that is strong enough to help. that's all I really know about the synopsis. That's all I really care to know about the synopsis. It's a YA fantasy that's inspired by Indian mythology, and I'm super hyped to have more diversity within this genre. So I'm super excited for it. I believe it already came out on the 11th. So I do plan on picking it up this month. The next prompt is Aegyo, a book with a super cute romance. And for this, I'm going to choose Ray Bear by Jordan E. Fueco. Now, in this story, you are following our main character, Tarisai, who was born and raised in isolation with a mysterious mother figure known as the Lady. One day, Tarisai gets the chance to become part of the Prince's Council, but unfortunately for her, her mom wants Tarisai to kill the Crown Prince. This is a book that's mostly about friendship, and it's mostly a found family relationship. So if you like that, I highly recommend picking it up. And the romance was just so sweet to me, and it was just like it made me so soft on the inside. The romance isn't a huge aspect of this story, but I still think it's cute and I still highly recommend it. The next prompt is visual, and that is going to be a book with a gorgeous cover. And for this, I have two answers, and that is going to be the UK editions of Strange the Dreamer, as well as Muse of Nightmare by Laini Taylor. Now, these are so freaking pretty to me. They have the sprayed edges, and if you open the front of the flap right here on this page, it's signed, and like it has some really cute drawings on it, some really cute art. In this story, you are following our main character, Laszlo Strange, who has this obsession with the long lost city of Weep. One day, an envoy comes and he gets the chance to venture out into the city, and our story goes from there. Laini Taylor has very beautiful writing style, very magical, very whimsical, and if you haven't read any of Laini Taylor's work, I highly recommend picking these up. The next prompt is music shows, and that is going to be the best audiobook, and for that I'm choosing Circe by Madeline Miller. Now, the audiobook for this series is just very relaxing to me. The narrator has a very calming and soothing voice, and it just soothed my spirit. So this story is you're basically following Circe from Greek mythology. It's basically a reimagining of her character and her life. If you like slow paced character stories, I highly recommend picking this up. The next prompt is All Kill, and that is a popular book you think is worth the hype. And for that, I'm going to be choosing the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. Now, in this story, you are following our main character, Esun, who comes home to find that her son has been murdered and her daughter has been kidnapped by her husband. So she goes on a vengeance quest to find her daughter and kill her husband. While all of this is happening, there are these things called the 5th season, which is basically post-apocalyptic events that happen in this world. This story has won 3 Hugo Awards every year, back to back. Whenever I hear somebody talk about 5th seasons, it's always something positive. I have yet to hear a negative review about the 5th season, unless it's from somebody racist. But other than that, the reviews are so positive on this. And I'm not gonna lie, I was hesitant, I was nervous. I didn't think I would like it, but then I read it and I was like, oh, this is a book that's actually worth the hype. So if you are afraid of picking this up, if you are nervous about the hype, I would suggest giving it a try at least, because it's a masterpiece and everybody should read it. The next prompt is Leader, and that is going to be a book that has had a major impact on you. And for this, I'm going to be choosing City of Bones by Cassandra City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. If I'm being completely honest, the entire original trilogy has had a major impact on me. If you don't know what this story is about, you're basically following these half human, half demon hunters. Wait, no. Half human, half angel demon hunters. In this story, you are following our main character, Clary Frey, who comes home to find that her mother has been abducted. So she has to team up with shadow hunters in order to find her. Now, I read this back in the day when I was like 13, 14. It was my freshman year of high school and I freaking loved it. It wasn't the first fantasy I read, but it was definitely the first fantasy that I became obsessed with. I was constantly looking up things about the Shadowhunter world and constantly wanting more from this world. And now that we've gotten more, I haven't read them. But yeah, I was going through some really difficult times in my life, and this was just the series I needed to escape from all of that. It's also the series that, because I was so obsessed with the world, I wanted to create my own world, and it's one of the reasons why I want to become an author one day. The final prompt is Goodbye Stage, and that is going to be a series finale you found satisfying. And for this, I am going to be choosing, what is this called? The Hero of Ages. Yeah. The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. In the first story, you are following Vin, who runs with this crew. And basically, she teams up with this other gang of criminals to take down the Lord Ruler, which is basically a dictator in this world. Now, when I read The Final Empire back in 2016, not gonna lie, I wasn't impressed. Like, I was bored throughout most of it, but then I got to the end and I was like, damn, now I have to continue reading. And that's like the thing Brandon Sanderson is known for. He's known to take his sweet time building up the world and the plot, only for it to have an explosive ending, and that is no different with this. The way Brandon Sanderson wraps up everything from even the first book is incredible to me, and I was so impressed. This was my very first foray into adult fantasy, so that might be another reason why I was so impressed, but my mind was just blown. It's definitely the series that made me want to get into more adult fantasy. I know Brandon Sanderson is a super hyped author, not just on BookTube, but in general. But if you are interested in picking up his works, I do recommend the Mistborn trilogy by him. Next up, I am going to tag Tammy from Tammy Tries to Read, Steph from Coffee Over Apples, Nana from Lit Nana, Mampreet from The Bookish Nook, Gabby from Gabby's Bookish Corner, Maddie from The Browsing Blog, and Sarah from Voyage Through Worlds. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope to see you guys soon with another video, and until then, I will see you soon. Bye!